Welcome back. Today we will learn about the earth-shattering revelations that are about to rock Salem to its very core in what could be the most explosive week in DOOL history. The hypnotic web of deception tightens around E.J. DiMera. Hold onto your seats, because E.J. DiMera's desperate quest for the truth is about to unleash a psychological nightmare that will leave viewers gasping for air. The tormented district attorney is preparing to dive back into the murky depths of his subconscious mind for another hypnosis session with the legendary Dr. Marlena Evans, and this time, the stakes couldn't be higher. What dark secrets will emerge from the shadowy recesses of his memory? The answer could destroy everything E.J. holds dear. The previous hypnotic encounter left E.J. with haunting fragments, a mysterious figure clutching a weapon, their identity obscured by the fog of trauma. But now, sources close to the production are whispering that this next session will pierce through the veil of forgetfulness like a dagger through silk. The phantom phrase, "Why didn't you give it to me?" continues to echo through E.J.'s tortured mind, and experts believe this cryptic question could be the smoking gun that points directly to the most shocking suspect imaginable. What makes this revelation even more spine-chilling is the clinical precision with which Marlena will conduct this second hypnotic journey into E.J.'s fractured psyche. The brilliant psychiatrist knows that unlocking these buried memories could unleash consequences that will reverberate through Salem's most powerful families. The tension in the room will be palpable as E.J.'s subconscious mind battles against revealing a truth so devastating it could shatter the very foundation of the DiMera empire. The innocent face hiding a terrifying secret. Prepare yourselves for the most gut-wrenching twist in DOOL history, because all signs are pointing toward little Rachel Black as the unthinkable perpetrator of this heinous crime. This angelic-faced child, who should be playing with dolls and learning her ABCs, may have committed an act so shocking that it will redefine the very concept of innocence in Salem. The thought that such a young soul could be capable of pulling the trigger on her own uncle is enough to send shivers down the spine of even the most hardened soap opera veteran. But here's where the story takes an even more sinister turn. Rachel herself has no memory of the traumatic event, her young mind having constructed an impenetrable fortress around the horrific truth. Child psychologists consulted by the show's writers reveal that when children experience trauma of this magnitude, their brains can completely erase the memory as a protective mechanism. This psychological phenomenon, known as dissociative amnesia, creates a chilling scenario where the perpetrator becomes both victim and victimizer in the most tragic sense imaginable. The evidence pointing toward Rachel's involvement is mounting like a tidal wave of undeniable proof. Witnesses have confirmed that she was present during the explosive confrontation between E.J. and Johnny, placing her at the scene of the crime at the precise moment when everything went wrong. The innocent phrase, "Why didn't you give it to me?" suddenly takes on a bone-chilling new meaning when you imagine it being spoken to a confused and frightened child who had somehow gotten her hands on a deadly weapon. The psychological mastermind's diabolical game. But wait, there's an even more disturbing layer to this psychological thriller that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about Salem's most trusted residents. Marlena Evans, the woman everyone turns to for healing and guidance, may be playing a game so complex and morally ambiguous that it challenges the very essence of medical ethics. Sources are buzzing with speculation that Marlena has already pieced together the shocking truth about Rachel's involvement, and now she faces an impossible choice that could destroy multiple lives. The brilliant psychiatrist finds herself trapped in a web of competing loyalties that would challenge even Solomon himself. On one side stands her beloved grandson Johnny, facing the electric chair for a crime he didn't commit. On the other side is a traumatized child whose life could be destroyed forever if the truth comes to light. The psychological pressure on Marlena is so intense that insiders report she's barely sleeping, consumed by the weight of a secret that could save one innocent while potentially damning another. What makes this situation even more explosive is Marlena's professional obligation to protect patient confidentiality, even as the walls of justice close in around her family. The hypnosis sessions have become a high-stakes chess match where every move could trigger a cascade of consequences that will reshape Salem's social hierarchy forever. Will she choose family loyalty over professional ethics? The answer could tear the Brady-Blackevans clan apart at the seams. Belle's righteous fury ignites Salem's legal battlefield. The courtroom drama is about to reach fever pitch as Belle Black prepares to unleash her legal wrath upon the man she once loved with every fiber of her being. The brilliant attorney's confrontation with EJ promises to be one of the most emotionally devastating scenes ever filmed for DOOL, as years of trust and intimacy explode into a supernova of betrayal and righteous indignation. Belle's discovery of EJ's manipulative legal tactics has transformed her from loving partner into avenging angel, and Salem will never be the same. But the most shocking twist is yet to come. EJ's decision to subpoena Marlena Evans to testify in court represents a betrayal so profound that it threatens to destroy every relationship he's ever cherished. This legal maneuver will force the respected psychiatrist to choose between protecting her patient's confidentiality and potentially sending an innocent man to his doom. The ethical implications are staggering, and the emotional fallout will create shockwaves that reach into every corner of Salem's interconnected families. The subpoena also reveals the depths of EJ's desperation and moral bankruptcy. By dragging Marlena into his legal machinations, he's essentially weaponizing the therapeutic relationship and turning it into a tool of courtroom warfare. Legal experts consulted by the show's writers confirm that this move would be considered highly unethical in the real world, but in Salem's twisted version of justice, anything goes when family survival is at stake. The child's mind. A fortress of forgotten horrors. The psychological complexity of Rachel's situation becomes even more heartbreaking when you consider the developmental factors at play in her young mind. Child development specialists reveal that at her age, the boundary between reality and imagination is still forming, which means her memories of that fateful night could be a mixture of actual events and psychologically protective fantasies. The trauma of witnessing violence, combined with the guilt of potential involvement, has created a perfect storm of psychological chaos in Rachel's developing brain. What makes Rachel's case particularly tragic is the possibility that her actions were completely accidental, the result of a child's curiosity about a dangerous object she didn't understand. The gun may have discharged when she picked it up, creating a chain of events that would haunt her for the rest of her life. The weight of such responsibility is crushing enough for an adult to bear. For a child, it's a burden that could shatter her psyche permanently. The show's commitment to psychological realism means that Rachel's journey toward remembering and healing will be portrayed with gut-wrenching authenticity. Viewers will witness the slow, painful process of a child's mind confronting an unbearable truth, supported by the love of her family and the expertise of Salem's most skilled mental health professionals. But will love be enough to heal wounds this deep? The web of Salem's secrets begins to unravel as the week of August 11th to 15th unfolds. The interconnected nature of Salem's secrets will create a domino effect that threatens to topple the city's entire social structure. Every character connected to this case carries their own burden of hidden knowledge, creating a powder keg of explosive revelations waiting to detonate. The writers have crafted a psychological thriller so complex and emotionally devastating that it will redefine what viewers expect from daytime drama. The ripple effects of these revelations will extend far beyond the immediate participants in the drama. Families will be torn apart, relationships will be shattered, and the very concept of truth will be challenged in ways that force every resident of Salem to examine their own moral compass. The show's commitment to exploring the darker aspects of human psychology means that no character will emerge from this storyline unchanged. The race against time, justice or mercy? The clock is ticking toward a climax that will leave viewers emotionally exhausted and psychologically challenged. As Johnny's trial reaches its fever pitch and the evidence against him continues to mount, the pressure on everyone involved becomes unbearable. Will the truth emerge in time to save an innocent man, or will Salem's complex web of secrets claim another victim in its relentless pursuit of dramatic irony? The writers have created a scenario where there are no easy answers and no clear villains, only human beings making impossible choices under unimaginable pressure. This moral complexity elevates DOOL beyond simple entertainment and into the realm of psychological exploration, forcing viewers to confront their own assumptions about justice, mercy, and the nature of truth itself. The upcoming episodes promise to deliver emotional devastation on a scale rarely seen in daytime television, with performances that will leave viewers emotionally drained and psychologically challenged. Prepare yourselves for a week of television that will redefine what you expect from soap opera storytelling, because in Salem, the most shocking truths are often hidden in the most innocent faces. What will Kristen DiMera do when EJ finally tells her the devastating truth, that her beloved daughter Rachel was the one who pulled the trigger? The stage is set for a confrontation so intense it could fracture not just the DiMera family, but the very fabric of Salem's already fragile alliances. Kristen has faced betrayal, heartbreak, and deception more times than any one person should have to endure, but nothing could prepare her for the emotional earthquake of learning her little girl stands accused of nearly killing her own uncle. The maternal instinct versus the DiMera code. Kristen DiMera is not a woman easily shaken. She has stared down enemies with icy composure and bent the law to her will more times than the legal system can count. But when it comes to Rachel, her fierce maternal instinct eclipses every other loyalty, every moral boundary, every shred of caution. If EJ delivers this revelation, Kristen's immediate reaction will not be one of measured thought, it will be pure, primal protection. She will see Rachel not as an accused shooter, but as her innocent little girl who must be shielded from the cold machinery of Salem's justice system. And when a DiMera decides to protect their own, rules become irrelevant, and lines between right and wrong blur into nothingness. The storm of denial. Kristen's first impulse may be to reject EJ's accusation outright. Denial is often the first stage of shock, and for Kristen, it will be amplified by years of mistrust toward her half-brother. She will question EJ's motives, suspecting him of trying to manipulate her, perhaps to gain leverage in the ongoing DiMera power struggle. But beneath the defiance, the seed of doubt will take root. If EJ provides any evidence, a witness statement, a recovered memory, a fragment of physical proof, Kristen's mind will begin a dangerous spiral. She will start replaying recent events in her head, scrutinizing Rachel's behavior for signs she missed, a sudden withdrawal, a fearful glance, or that strange silence whenever the shooting is mentioned. A mother's secret war plan. Once the possibility becomes too real to ignore, Kristen will shift into strategist mode. Her mind will move with the precision of a battlefield general, who must be silenced, what evidence must disappear, and which allies can be counted on to keep the truth buried. Kristen knows that if Rachel is exposed, she will not only face criminal charges, but the psychological trauma of being labeled a killer for the rest of her life. That is a burden Kristen will do anything to prevent her child from carrying. The legal battlefield will be her chosen war zone, but she will not hesitate to use back channels, bribes, and even blackmail to make sure the truth never sees daylight. The fracture in the DiMera alliance. EJ, for all his ruthless tendencies, is still a man who values family, but he also values truth when it serves him. Once Kristen realizes that EJ is not just informing her but may be prepared to use Rachel's secret as a weapon, their sibling bond will be ripped apart. This revelation could ignite a war between them, with Kristen accusing EJ of betrayal and threatening to retaliate with her own arsenal of family secrets. The DiMera empire has weathered many internal feuds, but a conflict centered on a child could become the most destructive in its history. The moral and emotional spiral. Kristen will face a devastating moral paradox: protect Rachel at all costs, or confront the truth and risk losing her daughter to both the law and the weight of guilt. If she chooses the path of protection, she will be walking deeper into the shadows, committing new crimes to cover up an old one. This moral spiral could also push Kristen into dangerous alliances. She might seek help from Salem's most ethically flexible characters. People who understand that protecting a child can sometimes mean breaking every law in the book. Marlena Evans could find herself reluctantly drawn into the conflict again, torn between her duty as a psychiatrist and her instinct to protect a child in crisis. The psychological fallout. The revelation will also force Kristen to confront an uncomfortable truth: if Rachel did this, what does it say about the kind of life Kristen has built for her daughter? Has Rachel absorbed too much of her mother's survival at any cost mentality? Did she learn that power comes from taking action, even violent action, when cornered? For Kristen, the answer will be both painful and motivating. She will see herself reflected in her daughter's potential act and vow to rewrite the story before Rachel becomes permanently defined by it. The dangerous endgame. As this storyline unfolds, Kristen's choices will reverberate across Salem. If she successfully buries the truth, she risks living in constant fear of discovery. If she decides to face it head-on, she risks losing Rachel forever. And in true Days of Our Lives fashion, the truth has a way of clawing its way to the surface no matter how deep it's buried. Kristen's every move will be under the microscope, from the legal maneuvers she attempts to the subtle emotional manipulations she deploys to keep EJ from turning against her completely. In the end, Kristen's reaction to EJ's revelation will not just define her relationship with her daughter, it will test the limits of her morality, her loyalty, and her power as a Demera. Whether she emerges as a mother who saved her child or a woman who destroyed everything in her path to protect her will depend on the dangerous choices she makes in the coming days. And in Salem, dangerous choices are the only kind that truly matter.